Donald Trump was not going to stay at Walter Reed any longer than necessary, or even as long as necessary. And so, as was alluded to over the weekend, and as we talked about on the show yesterday, he did leave. And he returned to the White House, where he decided to have his first action back in the White House be very emblematic of his overall approach to the pandemic that continues to grip our nation. Take a look.
Ladies, come back in. Ma'am,
Okay, so we're gonna have a little bit of a zoom in on a few seconds of that video, but Jordan, so he returned to the White House and immediately took his mask off. First thing he did as president once again, what do you think?
It's hard to really encapsulate just how reckless like him and his team and his supporters are being in this moment. Like this is a virus that has killed over 1 million people worldwide. It's killed 200,000 plus in the States. Millions of people have had it, and if just like I do, people who have had this, it's miserable, and we've seen how contagious it is. That this was, it seems like we can get into this, but it seems like a rushed exit from Walter Reed and taking the mask off, and then again, like his supporters, which I think we'll get into later, turning this into like the next step in that like mask culture war, just shows like they don't care. They really do not care.
No, they really don't seem to, or at the very least he doesn't. I'm sure there's somebody hypothetically that wants Trump to do what is good for him, whether in terms of his health, in terms of his prospects of re-election, but Trump is gonna be Trump. So he's not gonna listen to any of that. But really fast, let's talk about the mask going off. Because the president at that point was near an official photographer and other staffers could be seen behind him. He didn't put his mask back on as he turned to walk back into the White House. So look, if he just wanted to walk up those stairs and then take his mask off to weirdly look out at the crowd, okay, I get it. This is supposed to reassure his fans that he's still alive and his face hasn't melted off, Indiana Jones style. But then once you go back into the White House, put your mask back on. But he didn't do that. And if you take a look at this photo, which is from a higher vantage point, you can see he is walking into a room with people in it as he is shedding coronavirus freely into the air around him. He is not totally cured. There hasn't been enough time for that. This isn't like it's unsafe for anyone to not have a mask on, or it's even more unsafe because you were around someone that might have had it and maybe you have it. No, we know he has coronavirus right then, and he's walking to the White House with a mask off to just shed it into the air for those people. I know that we're lefties, so like bleeding hearts, we don't want to kill people. We're so weak in that respect, but I don't understand a person like those aren't his political enemies. It's not like Adam Schiff is in there, or like Kellyanne Conway's husband, or like the Lincoln Project guys. Those are his fans that have stuck with him to this point that still work for him, and he's doing what he can to kill them.
Right. I saw a story last night about how housekeeping staff are starting to contract it in the White House now because of this kind of like disregard for human life that he and his staff have demonstrated. And we saw this kind of play out in the debate when he took a shot at Hunter Biden for his history with drug abuse. And Hunter's much more privileged than the average drug user, less likely to face any real like substantive consequences than someone who grew up in like the Rust Belt, who got addicted to heroin, stuff like that. But the fact that he like thought that on national TV during the debate was the time to attack this guy for his own shortcomings was just another instance of that. We're seeing, so like for whether it's attacking someone's kid for mistakes that they've made, or now infecting staff in the White House around him or on his campaign team, and just taking off a mask, knowing deep down he has to know he still has this. It's just a complete and total disregard for human life. It's just absolutely callous.
It just totally is. And I would say this is one of the lives he's risking that I care the least about, but it's also a risk to his own life. Just hours before what you saw in that video, White House physician Sean Conley said Trump, quote, may not be entirely out of the woods yet with the virus. The president is still infected and will continue to receive treatment at the White House. He just doesn't want to do it at Walter Reed because I guess he thinks it makes him look weak. And if you're a right-wing male, there's literally nothing you fear more than someone thinking you're weak, even if your lifelong quest to avoid that appearance makes you constantly weak. But that's a longer conversation we don't have time to get into. Now, White House aides have advised President Trump to avoid the Oval Office while he's still infected. We'll see if he respects that. But they're making arrangements for him to work out of the diplomatic reception room and use it as a backdrop for future televised remarks, according to two White House officials. Now, one of those White House officials told Axios, it's insane that he would return to the White House and jeopardize his staff's health when we are still learning of new cases among senior staff. This place is a cesspool. And they go on to say he was so concerned with preventing embarrassing stories that he exposed thousands of his own staff and supporters to a deadly virus. He has kept us in the dark, and now our spouses and kids have to pay the price. It's just selfish. So look, my gut reaction is, why are you still saying all this stuff off the record? But the thing is, we saw that Pence aide come out and give all this information about what was happening in the White House. And it's not like going on the record makes his followers care anymore. But Jordan, this is what people who actually work there are saying. Like, they're shocked that he is willing to do this and to infect, as you said, not just the politicos in the White House, but the people who are just working there, the staff.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't believe. Here I am, like, still somehow shocked that like this is what it's reached. That they all know that this could get people killed around them. They can get people sick. If they don't have, or those people in the staff, like maybe in housekeeping, don't have, their family members don't have health insurance, people around them don't have health insurance, they could risk like bankruptcy. This is extremely dangerous, and he is using this as a campaign prop because he wants to be seen, like you said, as this kind of alpha male. He doesn't want to be seen as weak or inferior. It's really close to the election, so he wants to make sure like people aren't worried about his his vitality or election prospects.
Yeah. And
the end result is he's putting people's lives on the line. That is so unbelievably callous.
100%. And it's Trump is obviously putting at risk the lives of everyone around him. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.